Welcome to Skin Deep here on Sirius XM Radio, channel 141 HUR Voices. I'm your host, Sharrarne Morton. And after the break, I will be speaking with my very special guests, China White. She's a travel agent, an author, motivational speaker, and owner of China Lux Travel. That's Lux with an E. She believes that every trip expands our understanding of the world and our place in it. China's passion is encouraging others to expand their boundaries through international travel. And I'll also have Imani Warren. She's a Black beauty historian. I love that. Filmmaker and the founder and director of the Institute for Black Beauty and Cultural Resistance. Her work explores Black beauty culture, identity, and community care through exhibitions, research, and film. She's also the producer of The Creole Pig, Haiti's Great Loss, currently streaming nationally on PBS. So, as I always say, we're going to be doing more than just scratching the surface. Here on Skin Deep, we're giving you the power to make informed decisions about traveling the world as a Black woman. And by the way, if you want to reach out, please email us at skindeepradioshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages with information you just can't afford to miss here on Skin Deep. Welcome back to Skin Deep here on Sirius XM Radio, channel 141 HUR Voices. As we mentioned before the break, I have China White and Imani Warren on the show today talking all about Black girl travel. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much for having us today.
I'm so excited to have you. And by the way, folks, China and Imani, will be coming back this fall to be doing regular segments on Black Girl Travel. I can't wait for that, girls. I'm so glad you agreed to
It's going to be phenomenal.
that. So, listen, I want you to tell us all about your travel to South Africa. You traveled together. I want you to tell us about that experience and what made you choose South Africa. So either of you can start.
Miss China, would you like to go first?
Of course.
All
I'm
right.
absolutely obsessed with Shaka Zulu and the Zulus. And so this is what made me, in particular, want to go to South Africa. I've been to Africa many times, but I had to meet the Zulus. And
Mhm.
it was the most fantastic experience of my life. Of course, we know the history of oppression in South Africa, and I wanted to know what it's like today, how the people are bouncing back, what are the communities like, and
Mhm.
I say we had a very immersive experience there. It was fantastic.
I love that. And you went with her, Imani. So it was kind of like a family trip too, because your mom was there.
Yes.
So tell us,
Yes.
what was your experience like?
South Africa was phenomenal, but what made it even more special is the fact that we traveled during Christmas and New Year because who wants to spend Christmas in a foreign country? I do. So, the reason why it was so exciting because it was like a group of friends, extended family members, and of course, taking that 14-hour trip from Atlanta and meeting everyone. It was so exciting because for me it was my first trip to South Africa, but of course not my last. So it made it exciting because it was the holiday time, and to spend that time frame in Africa on the continent with family is what made it even more special. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ashamed and embarrassed to say that I have not traveled to Africa yet, but I will be getting there later this year. I'm hoping to go to Kenya.
Yes.
I'm going to make up my mind in the next couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm excited about that. What surprised you most about that trip, China?
For me, I was really surprised at, first of all, how modern South Africa is. It's
Mhm.
so modern, and it is very common for people to speak multiple languages. So
Mhm.
I watched people have conversations in two different languages without ever switching. So what I mean is, like, for instance, if one person was speaking the click language and somebody else was speaking another language, they would speak to each other in their own languages and never um, converse. They would never change over into the other person's language, but
Oh,
understand each other. And so for people to speak six, seven, eight languages in South Africa is so normal to them that they don't feel the need. Like, I speak whatever I feel like speaking, and you can still
Right.
stay in your native tongue, and it's cool. And I was like, Wow.
Yeah. Did a
Zulu.
lot of people know English, or did you have to learn some of the languages there?
No, they are very well versed in English. It's so
Yeah,
easy for an
yeah,
American to converse with them. And I'm going to tell you, we even took pictures with them on the street where if I show
right,
them to you, it looks just like your cousin Monica from down
right,
the street. Like they're
right.
so cool. It's
Yes,
it's so cool. It's like you've never been away from home. It's like a
right,
family reunion. You know,
Wow.
right.
the
Absolutely,
streets in the
absolutely.
neighborhood, people are so excited to see you and converse with you in English, and it's no big deal at all. It's so easy for them to switch between languages effortlessly. And of course, they will say, "Oh, excuse me for not speaking your language well," but I'm telling you, they speak better than we do.
Right,
Wow.
exactly.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really good.
So,
Hmm.
Imani, how did you feel about how you all were received by the local people? Were they friendly toward Americans? You know what's going on in America right now. Were they friendly towards you? How do you feel you were treated?
So first of all, when we arrived in Johannesburg, Johannesburg is such a modern city and beautiful, fabulous marble floor airport. So we're going through the airport. We get there, and the first night we're there is Christmas Day. And so people were everywhere. And we went to this particular place. Oh my gosh, it's escaping me now. But the first stop that we made in Johannesburg was a mall. And we're not talking about a mall. We're talking about a mall that looks like it could be in Georgetown, a mall that looks like it could be in Buckhead. Now, everything wasn't open, but people were out. They had their Christmas clothes on. They were dancing in the street, and they were just, it was kind of like just walking amongst your people, just a regular afternoon. And then, of course, you can't really tell when you're there because, like I said, it's so modern. It was gorgeous. It was like being Buckhead, Atlanta.
Wow.
It really blew my mind. It was so you know you have a mindset that you think it's going to
Yeah.
look different,
Yeah.
but then when you get there and you go, you're like, oh my god, this looks the same exact way, except for people are speaking multiple languages. And so all the restaurants weren't open, but it was a very nice introduction to the first day for being in Johannesburg, South Africa.
That's wonderful. I want to though find out about, the people, our people that are there, and what is their socioeconomic conditions. Because I know they have the whites or Afrikaners, I think that's what they call them, and then the coloreds, and then the black folks, who I say are indigenous because that's their country. What what is it like for them, China?
I can say that the diversity of experience is very similar to what you see in America, right? So you have people who are extremely poor, you have people who are doing well. You walk into the clubs and you hear so much American music
Mhm.
because these people are really musical. And so you really have a wide range. But I can say there's still a lot of oppression in South Africa. And so, according to where you go, when you go to the outskirts of the major towns, you can see it. There is a town close to Johannesburg, which is just white people, gated communities.
Mhm,
And this day and age, it's a bad feeling. It's
mhm,
a bad feeling, right? But you can see that some people are very educated, doing well, and then people are impoverished to the point that like just getting water and basic needs, children going to school is very, very difficult. And so
mhm.
I think it's important for us when we go to the continent to introduce our people to a different experience than what they think we are, than what television says we are. We are not the
Right.
other people coming. We're coming to help. We're coming to hug you. We're coming to love you. We're coming to have a family reunion. We're not coming to oppress you because we're from quote unquote one of the richer countries.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, great answer. Thank you so much for that. I've
Sure.
always wanted to know because I had a girlfriend that lived there.
Mhm.
She was very affluent, and
Mhm.
So, but I knew that we're not that far out of apartheid. What,
Yeah,
like 30 years maybe?
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
And so I understand that look, we're 400 years out of slavery. How many years out of slavery? How many years? 200 years out of slavery,
yeah.
and we still have the same issues going on here in this country. So I wanted my audience, my listeners, to know what is it really like for our people over there.
Well, I would just say everywhere across the world, your pocket does influence your experience.
Yeah,
Facts.
Because
yeah,
it's
Yes.
the reality of the world we live in, no
yeah,
matter where you are on the globe. And so for me, I consider money to be access. The
yeah.
more money you have, the more access you have. The less money you have, the more creative you have to be to get access to the
Mhm.
things you need, the things you want, and to your dreams in general.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yes.
Imani, what are some of the drawbacks do you think there are when it comes to international travel? But I'm going to let you answer that on the other side of the break. But before we go to break, ladies, I want you to tell people how they can reach out to you. Like, what are your social media handles, or do you have a website, or where do you want people to reach out?
Well, I'm on Instagram. You can reach me. I'm sapio underscore kaleidoscope. You can reach me there. I am an Instagram girl. I'm trying to be more analog versus digital. So you could find me there.
Okay. And so I'm China, China underscore Lux, Luxe 808, like lucky, right? At Instagram.com. So China underscore Lux with an E 808.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Folks, we have to take a quick break, but I want you to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
And we're back here on Skin Deep on Sirius XM Radio, channel 141, HUR Voices with China White and Imani Warren, having a very, very informative discussion about Black girl travel abroad. And in this case, we're talking about South Africa. So I wanted to know from you ladies, you travel a lot, especially you, Charna. I mean, you travel, I think, at least twice a year. You go somewhere abroad. I think you got a trip coming up soon to Morocco. Where did you just come back from a few weeks ago?
Costa Rica, a few months before that, Egypt. Yeah.
Yes, girl, you out there doing the damn thing with the travel. Is it and I wanted to go back to Imani too, because I said before the commercial, I was gonna ask her about if there were any drawbacks to international travel, and wanted to also know if you all have to do a lot of financial planning before you take these trips. So you can go ahead and answer that, Imani, and then I'm gonna get that answer, same answer, or a different
Well,
answer probably from China.
sure. Thank you so much for that. It depends on how long you are going. So, for example, I will be traveling to Kenya and I will be traveling to Ethiopia. And so I've been planning to save my coins for about 6 months to a year because I'm staying for about a month
Mhm.
because we're looking forward to that. So you want to make sure you have your ducks in row. You want to make sure that you have your travel insurance because just in case, you never know. I think some of the most important things that you have to learn is that because of the climate of what's going on in the United States, I
Mhm.
think it's very important that you have global entry. That is a drawback if you don't have it. Because when you're coming in and out, you can just breeze a little bit easier going back to and from the US. So have global entry. It's kind of like TSA where you go and you do the application online. So
Yeah.
that's something that's important and it will definitely help you process things better. And just having your money, understanding the laws of the country, understanding that you can't arbitrarily go up and start taking pictures. You've got to know what you're doing and, to keep you a little bit safer and more, have a better experience that way.
When you say go up and you can't just go up and take pictures, what do you mean?
So, for example, in Kenya, there are a lot of places you cannot take pictures and film. So,
Oh,
to avoid all of that, it's just best to ask. Just
oh,
ask, am I able to film here? Am I able to take a picture? Because some places it's against the law. They don't want you filming, they don't want you to take pictures. So, to just practice good etiquette, it's just best to just ask. And that will take away all of that. And then I've ordered a smaller camera, like almost like a GoPro size, versus carrying around my bulky 4K camera. I want to go smaller, a little bit more inconspicuous when I'm taking pictures, but also still have good visuals. So you just want to be mindful of what the rules and regulation is, because if not, that can be a drawback. And also making sure that you have access to your finances, making sure that if you're going to stay longer, that you get a old phone having a SIM card so you can communicate. So just different little tips like that will help you have a better experience.
Oh, yeah. Now, I heard because of all the drama at the airports that, like, I have global entry, and I know some people that have the TSA, but that wasn't helping at all because of what's going on. So I don't know if that's still the case or not, but definitely that global entry certainly does help you. What do you say about the drawbacks, if any, China, regarding international travel, and how far in advance do you plan for your trips financially?
Okay, I say financially from 3 to 6 months ahead. I start saving. I look at the money exchange, the dollar to whatever the local exchange is, to figure out how much spending money do I need, and how strong is the dollar at this time. I actually monitor it over time and try to exchange dollars on a day when it's stronger. I try to buy a little money ahead because you never get a good exchange in the airport. So I try to buy a little money foreign currency here before I leave and before I travel. I would say it's very important to try to brush up on local customs before you travel. And it's also important to understand that America has a reputation that's a little glossier than real. And so when you're traveling across the world, especially if you're single, especially if you're black, they figure you have to be affluent
Mhm,
to be
mhm.
rich. And so people will try to take advantage of you. They will try to ingratiate themselves upon you to like hang out with you your whole trip so that you can feed them. Please don't give foreigners your WhatsApp number. I know it's easy, it's free. It's better to get a local SIM card and let them call you because they will hawk you once you come home. They
Yeah,
bring them to America. They want you to find them a job. They want you to take over taking care of their families because to them you're like a walking dollar bill down the street. You have to be very, very, very mindful of that. Um,
mhm.
Even the way you dress. You might, if you're a fancy girl, stiletto girl, you might want to tone down a little bit. Just tone down a little bit, in certain places because it can make you a little bit of a target. At the
Mm.
end of the day, if you have good manners, if you're friendly, if you learn just a few phrases of the language of the country that you're going into, most people will go out of their way to show you the best of their town.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you, China, because you don't mind traveling alone. I'm too afraid to travel alone. So I don't even like traveling alone here in the US, but you will jump on a plane in a hot minute and go somewhere by yourself. What is it that gives you that kind of courage? Like you may not even know anybody in the country to which you're traveling. How do you how do you feel so comfortable doing that alone? And then the other thing, real quick, let people know that they can go into their banks to do the money exchange, right? Is that where you go when you exchange?
Yes, you can. Years ago, I used to go into American Express, and that was wonderful. You can't do that anymore. But
Mhm.
yes, you can go into your bank and very securely pick up a little money. It's better than landing in the airport because you never get a good exchange rate there, and it
Yeah.
always takes you a little time to find out what place of the city gives the best rate. So definitely hit the ground running with at least enough money to say last you for 4 days.
And you
Okay.
definitely need to go to the bank at least a week or so or more before you leave for your trip, because sometimes they may not have the money or they'll say, well, you got to come back while we get all the money that you need in that particular currency. But
It's better to call ahead to your local branch and
yeah,
let them know, "I'm gonna be needing this amount of money, and I wanna pick it up on this day," and
yeah.
then they'll have it for you. Yes.
So what makes you or what gives you the courage to travel to so many countries alone? Like,
Um, It's
Solo traveling is what they call it nowadays.
it's really just a point of view, to be quite honest. All of your experiences in life are cumulative. And so I spent a lot of time alone as a child. I had to get on the bus and travel long distances by myself at like 5, 6, 7 years old. It would be someone to meet me on the other side. When I was in my early teens, I was allowed to travel to other states on the trains by myself here in America by myself. So I just got kind of used to it. And so when I look at traveling the world, it's just like I live in Philly. I look at it, it's just like I'm going to Jersey, but it's a longer ride. Like in my mind, that's what it is.
Mhm.
It is. I read maps very well. My aunt taught me as a child. And so I get on the local bus with people, I talk with people. I feel like it's the same. The hustle is the same all over the world. Everybody wants good work, a good home, something good for their family, good people around them to party with, laugh with, etc. It's really the same, no matter what color you are, no matter what country you're in. And so I find that as long as you're warm, you can make friends anywhere in the world and all doors will be open to you.
That is wonderful. I'm so glad you all are coming back in the fall because we are out of time. The show goes by so quickly, but you had some really good information. I know my listeners will really appreciate it. That's it for now, folks. I'm your host, Sharrarne Morton, with my very special guests, China White and Imani Warren, who are experts in traveling abroad. Ladies, tell the listeners again how they can reach you or give them your social media handle. Imani?
Sure, sure. I'm Sepia Kaleidoscope. Let me spell that really quickly. It's SEPIA underscore KALIDSCOPE. Sepia underscore Kaleidoscope. I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you so much.
Is that Instagram, Imani?
That is IG. That is Instagram. Thank you.
Okay.
Ex- and I am China, spelled like the country, China underscore Lux, Luxe 808 at Instagram. Hope to see you there.
So thank you, ladies, for being on the show. I can't wait until the fall to hear more of your stories and information on other countries that you have traveled to or that you will be going to. So, folks, you can hear this show on SiriusXM Radio Channel 141, HUR Voices on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, as well as on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all of the streaming platforms. And hit me up at skindeepradioshow at gmail.com or check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Sharrarne Morton. Thanks again for tuning in on all things that are skin deep.